Good morning, everybody. It's Hammer. Today is Thursday, June 13th, 2024. I, of course, with Originator Success here with today rate mortgage update, the only place on the web where you guys can join me live each and every weekday morning at 9:30 a.m. Eastern Time. Coming to you today from hot Atlanta at the EPM Tag event, Tag for the American Gift. And I am obviously not in the room as they are starting. A few minutes ago, I decided to get some work done here at the hotel for a little bit, and then I'll jump over. So anyway, thank you for joining me. Remember, you can join me live each and every day, 9:30 a.m. You can watch on the replay. Just if you do watch on the replay, let me know that you were here. Give me a hashtag replay in the comments. Let me know that all is well. Don't forget to smash that like button, tag another friend, share this post in a group. If you're on YouTube, go ahead and leave a comment, give a thumbs up, and subscribe. Let's take a look and see who's here this morning and what day it is. Good morning, Ms. Megan Lindberg. Great to have you here. Good morning, James Mahan. Great to see you, sir. Ron Siegel says today is either National Kitchen Klutzes of America Day or National Golf Cart Day. Those are some slim pickings, Ron. June 13th, not really a popular day when it comes to all the fun stuff, is it? Um, National Golf Cart Day? Really? I would think, I don't know, kitchen klutzes. A klutz, I thought, is when you trip and you fall. And what's a kitchen klutz? Klutz. I don't know. So that's all right. We won't spend a lot of time on that one today. There's only a handful of people on it anyway, which is surprising. I don't know why. Anyway, let's go ahead and get started, though. Let me know, how's the quality of the picture, by the way? I'm curious because hot spotting through the phone, and it's got connection. So just curious. And good morning, Angela. Good morning, Yasmin. Great to see you here. All right, y'all. So let's get into the good stuff. Let's dive into the news here. Take a look here. Mortgage-backed securities are up 20 basis points to start the day. That is good. Let's make the screen bigger. Let me zoom in on this and show you guys a few things. So down here is I had this on a 5-day chart of mortgage bonds, right? So here was Friday where we went and lost, boom, because of all of the labor market data, the new jobs created, the BLS jobs report really sunk bonds on Friday. And we saw Monday kind of continued down and things worsened. Tuesday, we got a bit of a wake up here and then it fell, but it woke back up again. Wednesday, of course, yesterday was a great day for bonds. First thing you see here, and I'm going to put this on the 2 days so we can really see this, is you'll see that we got the first jump up, significant improvement. Bonds pricing in the CPI inflation data that came in slightly cooler than expected. Great sign for inflation. Now, we thought, and I certainly thought, that we were going to see a more dovish Fed helped by that data. But instead, what happened, you could see here, the Fed statement came out and, things were good. They really didn't move too much, but they got just a little bit worse. And then as Powell's press conference went on after 2:30, you could see bonds just kind of sunk down and gave up on the day. And we ended up losing about 20 basis points off of those best levels. And it's nice this morning. You can see we were up significantly higher, and I'll talk about why in a minute, this big jump here. But right here, we're up about 20 basis points, and it puts us right back where we were after that CPI data. And that means that rate sheets should be similar to yesterday, maybe a little bit better. If you did see a reprice worse yesterday in the late afternoon as bonds were losing ground, you'll see recovery from that. So let's talk about today and why we saw this big jump here. The reason we saw that big jump, first of all, the wholesale inflation, which is the producer price index, surprised with the biggest decline since October. Report adds to evidence that inflationary pressures are moderating. So remember, the CPI is the consumer price index. That is consumer inflation. The producer price index is the wholesale inflation. And that means basically what companies and what companies are paying for the cost of goods and then passing along to the consumer. So when you see inflation dropping here, the idea is that should find its way also to decline going to the consumer in the future. And that's what we're looking for. The 10-year Treasury yield breaks below 4.3 on the producer price index. Let's take a look and see what it is right now. It is at 4.267. So that's 4.27. We round that off. That is looking fantastic. Yesterday, it ended the day at 4.31 after dropping as low as 4.25. So the 10-year Treasury, you can see this tail right here on the candlestick. It really did drop down. However, it came back up and we kind of lost ground, but today it has improved. And these are the kind of the best levels that we saw back in the beginning of June and the middle of last week when we had some of our best rate sheets. And that puts us right back in that same spot, right? So that's fantastic. Here was that red candlestick from the 10-year Treasury after we got the labor market data, and it kind of trashed things. So let me see if I can't. It's a pain in the neck, but let me just, I hate when that box always comes up. It's annoying. So let me just do, there you go. So taking a look here, you can see this giant red candlestick. That was the labor market data on Friday, and it bounced that 10-year Treasury yield back up. And now we've pushed back down. Now, it's also very interesting to see that the headline's a little different here than what was on there. I let me see if I can find the particular headline. It talked about how the bond market splits from the Fed again by betting on 2024 rate cuts. And this really should catch our attention because, so yeah, when we saw mortgage bonds kind of crap out right here after Powell's press conference, I'll do the thing again so we don't see the box. There you go. So right here, when we see mortgage bonds just start to tank down after Powell's press conference, the reason that happened is because markets didn't like his tone. It was a very hawkish tone, and it was very much just kind of he used the word confidence 20 times, according to Nick Timiraos, right? So Nick Timiraos watching the press conference, and let's see, we'll see it right here. We're looking for something that gives us confidence that inflation is moving sustainably down. Powell said at a press conference in which he used the word confident or confidence 20 times. Now, what we're seeing overseas, like the European Central Bank and Bank of Canada, they cut their interest rates, right? But the Fed is not cut interest rates. And part of like a really good thing to think about is something that was brought up by, I think it was actually James Bullard here, right? So Bullard used to be a Fed official. He was a St. Louis Fed president. He's now at Purdue University, and he kind of brought up a really interesting point here. He said some Fed officials have indicated that once they start cutting rates, they plan to do so at regular intervals. In 19, and this is by Timiraos, but Bullard was still that same thing here, right? So they do so at regular intervals. So the idea here is if we take a look at the Fed calendar, July, there is the idea that it's very, very unlikely we'll see a rate cut. Now, the good news is hikes are off the table again, and that would have driven mortgage rates up. So we don't have to worry about mortgage rates going up too high. Let me go ahead and go to my little picture here so you guys can. So we don't have to worry about mortgage rates going up too high, because in order to see rates really move higher, we'd have to see the idea that we're going to see rate hikes. That's off the table again. That came off the table last meeting. Powell really did put a pin in that balloon. He popped the idea that we would see rate hikes, or that rate hikes would make it back onto the table. Unless something catastrophic were to happen and we started having rate hike conversations, then we don't have to worry about rates moving much higher from here. That's the good news. That's what we want to get across to people. But are rates going to move down lower, and how much lower are they going to go down? They're going to work their way lower a little bit at a time. It's not going to be huge moves, and it's going to happen as we anticipate those Fed rate cuts. Now, yesterday's dot plot after the meeting, it showed a mix between 1 and 2 rate cuts to come this year. So let's go ahead and let's take a look at the dot plot that was loaded on here. Now, did they not? This is the old one. Did they not show the new one? This is This is the March dot plot. They didn't update it here. Okay, let me pull up Fed June dot plot. Let's see. Let's just see if we can get an image of it here. Okay. So let's see if this. Yes, visit. Okay. All right. So here's the dot plot after the Fed meeting. So oh no, this is an old one. Holy smokes! How old is that article? June of 2022. Okay, Fed dot plot June 2024. I didn't know I'd have to be quite so specific for Google. I figured it would get the most. Let's see if there's a Bloomberg, BNN Bloomberg. Here we go. We'll use this one. So anyway, taking a look at this dot plot. Sorry, y'all. I know it's kind of boring as I'm talking about this stuff today, and I feel like I'm staring at the computer screen. I can't even see your comments. You could see. Look here at dot plot. You could see is a. It was overwhelming that we expected that there was three cuts, and then rate cut. Here's no rate cuts. So this is what we saw before. Now it's a very strong expectation, and then one rate cut is right here, one rate cut is there, and two rate cuts is there. So we have basically a strong consensus between one and two rate cuts by the Fed, with a few outliers that say no rate cut. That's one rate fills your average up that way. But really, half the Fed members, almost half, are split, and they're split to that too, and that's what we're very likely to see. So anyway, where we're going with all this is the September rate hike is back on the table after yesterday's Fed meeting, and after yesterday's inflation data being helped with this morning's wholesale inflation. Also, jobless claims, unemployment claims came in big number this morning. Let me see. I have it on my phone so I can actually just see it here. Sometimes Bloomberg way there rise to the highest in 9 months, and of course, Siegel, you would be absolutely right to point out that they were led by California, the high employment, but bond market is currently pricing in the really what we're seeing here. Probably going to see the first cut in September, and then the second cut probably in December. And that's what I'll go back to that Wall Street Journal article. So here's the idea of one cut overwhelming for two cuts, and then a little outliers even for three cuts. Now, when you look at the Wall Street Journal article, what they're saying here is that under Greenspan, the Fed took a idiosyncratic approach, cutting rates once in July back in 1995, then waiting another 5.5 months to reduce rates again. What markets are expecting this time around is the Fed that if they do it in September, that they'll like skip a meeting and then do it in December, and then skip a meeting, and we would see probably March of next year. And they expect it to be organized and consistent cutting fashion. Whereas what Bullard said would be better is if there was more of a Greenspan approach, where that rate cut doesn't have to have so much momentum, because that's part of why the Fed is not committing to when they will cut rates, because the idea is that once you let that genie out of the bottle, you've uncorked the champagne, you have started the cycle, and it has a lot of momentum. But if we don't do it that way, I'm still saying hikes, Siegel? Crap. So friend, I'm sorry, connection from the hotel. So yeah, no, cuts. I don't know why I keep talking about hikes. So anyway, you said you wonder with the Fed continuing to take rate hikes off the table, moving toward a single cut this year, if the spread between the 10-year and 30-year will narrow once more to historical numbers, and we'll see mortgage rates improve. I think we will. I agree with you. I think we will. And that's there. So anyway, for those of you that did stick around as I'm chatting today, hopefully you got something out of that. The idea here, what we've kind of taken away from the Fed meeting is there is still this idea that once the Fed begins the process of cutting rates, it will be a consistent um, timeline to cut, and that is what they're afraid of, and that's why they don't want to commit to it. So markets kind of ignoring Powell's comments yesterday because he wouldn't commit to anything with rate cutting. And that's why markets didn't really like what he had to say yesterday. And we saw a negative reaction to it for bonds, saw some reprices worse on the rate sheets. As far as how much better rates are going to get near term, not going to get too much better than where they're at now. We should see some improvement. Let's get the PCE data coming in, in a couple of weeks. That'll help a little bit. But the next meeting is at the end of July. We've got another labor market report coming in, of course. We've got another, CPI report coming in. So we've got some data to see, and that could bring rates down. But the good news is rates shouldn't move much higher than where they're at right now. We'll see that small movement when we get, quarter point each way kind of a thing. But they're still not ready to really drop down. So keep that in mind. All right, y'all. I hope you have a fantastic day. I'm going to get some other stuff wrapped up, get the email out, and then I will get over to the tag event. So take care, everybody. And if you are a tag, make sure that you stop and say hello to me. Find me. All right. See y'all later. Take care, everybody. And thanks, Ron. Bye-bye.